Alberta on the verge of separation? Liberals frustrated as Doug Ford steps in. Canada is currently facing one of the most significant crises in its modern history, marked by escalating separatist sentiments in Alberta. Premier Danielle Smith has emerged as a prominent figure in this movement, advocating for what she perceives as the rightful interests of Alberta against the backdrop of federal neglect. This situation poses serious implications for the unity of Canada, compelling Liberal Prime Minister Mark Carney and Ontario Premier Doug Ford to engage in a delicate balancing act to preserve national cohesion while addressing the province's growing economic and political discontent. Alberta is known for its vast oil reserves and resource-rich economy, which have historically positioned it as a powerhouse within Canada. However, many Albertans feel marginalized by federal policies, particularly regarding economic management and natural resource governance. This sense of alienation has intensified under Premier Smith's leadership, especially following the introduction of the Alberta Sovereignty within a United Canada Act in 2022. This legislation empowers the provincial government to defy federal laws deemed harmful to Alberta's interests, particularly in sectors like natural resources, energy, and agriculture. The act is seen by some as a significant move toward greater provincial autonomy and by others as a potential stepping stone toward full separation. Smith has consistently claimed that she does not advocate for Alberta's departure from Canada, yet her insistence on pushing for more control over provincial affairs has been interpreted by critics as a veiled threat to the nation's unity. This duality complicates the political landscape and raises questions about Alberta's future within the Confederation. Recent polling data indicates a worrying trend. Support for separatism in Alberta is on the rise. Surveys suggest that approximately 27% of Albertans now favor the province leaving Canada, with this sentiment being particularly pronounced among younger voters. Many of these individuals feel disenfranchised by federal policies that they believe do not reflect their interests or needs. This growing support for independence has sparked increasing concerns both within Alberta and across the nation about the potential ramifications if separatist sentiments continue to gain traction. While Smith maintains that separation is not an immediate goal, the rhetoric emerging from her government, coupled with the rising popularity of Alberta's autonomy movement, has intensified fears of a fracturing nation. The province's economic future, especially its oil and gas industry, remains a contentious point of conflict with Ottawa, particularly in the context of the federal government's carbon pricing policy and its restrictions on pipeline development. Mark Carney, who previously served as the governor of both the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, took on the role of Prime Minister during a tumultuous time marked by political polarization and economic challenges. His leadership has been characterized by efforts to balance economic pragmatism with the realities of a deeply divided nation. Carney's tenure began following a narrow election victory in 2025, and since then, he has faced the daunting task of navigating the rising tide of separatism in Alberta. Carney's economic background has been viewed as an asset, yet his relative inexperience in the political arena has drawn criticism. As Prime Minister, he is under constant pressure from both the left and right, attempting to forge a path through a landscape fraught with discontent and competing demands. His centrist policies aim to appeal to a broad electorate, but they have struggled to resonate in Alberta, where many voters feel that their concerns have been systematically ignored. Moreover, Carney's federal policies, including carbon taxes and environmental regulations, have not been well received in Alberta. These measures are perceived as direct threats to the province's oil and gas industry, which is a cornerstone of its economy. The inability to effectively address these issues has led to frustration not only from Alberta's government, but also from the general population, who view Ottawa's interventionist policies as detrimental to their economic livelihood. In addition to domestic challenges, Carney is grappling with increasing international pressures, particularly related to Canada's trade agreements and its relationship with the United States. As Canada seeks to renegotiate aspects of the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, Carney's foreign policy experience will be put to the test. Any failure to address Alberta's economic concerns could further undermine his political standing at home. As the situation in Alberta grows more tense, Ontario Premier Doug Ford has positioned himself as a crucial player in the debate surrounding Canada's unity. Known for his pragmatic governance style, Ford has sought to act as a mediator between the federal government and Alberta, recognizing the importance of preventing a complete breakdown in relations. His intervention comes at a crucial juncture when Alberta's frustrations with Ottawa's perceived neglect are escalating. Ford has been vocal in his belief that a united Canada is stronger than a divided one. His calls for dialogue between provincial leaders, particularly with Premier Smith, underscore his commitment to preserving the country's integrity. Ford's role is not solely about protecting Ontario's economic interests. It is also about ensuring the future stability of Canada as a whole. However, Ford's actions have not been without controversy. Critics argue that his involvement in Alberta's internal affairs may be seen as overreach, questioning whether he prioritizes national unity over Alberta's autonomy. Conversely, supporters contend that his actions are vital in preventing a catastrophic breakup that could have far-reaching consequences for all provinces. The Conservative Party, under Pierre Poilievre's leadership, finds itself in a precarious position as the debate over Alberta's future intensifies. Poilievre, who advocates for limited government and individual rights, has expressed support for the concerns of Albertans while also emphasizing the importance of maintaining national unity. His party's platform has historically aligned with Alberta's economic interests, particularly around resource development, yet Poilievre's populist approach has alienated some centrist voters, leading to a smaller support base. Poilievre's response to the crisis in Alberta has been cautious. While he acknowledges the frustrations of Alberta's population, he has called for moderation and dialogue, urging both the provincial and federal governments to seek common ground. His stance aligns somewhat with Ford's, advocating for a solution that respects Alberta's concerns while preventing further separatist movements. However, Poilievre's role in the crisis is complicated by internal party dynamics. With the Liberals maintaining a significant portion of power, the Conservative Party's ability to influence the national conversation is limited. This situation places Poilievre in a challenging position as he attempts to balance his party's interests with those of Albertans while presenting a coherent vision for the future of Canada. As the crisis in Alberta unfolds, the future of Canada's unity remains uncertain. The growing separatist sentiments in Alberta signal an increasing divide between provinces, particularly in relation to Ottawa. For Prime Minister Carney, the challenge is clear. He must find a way to address Alberta's concerns while ensuring that the country remains united. Doug Ford's intervention is crucial in this context, as he seeks to mediate between Alberta and the federal government, helping to de-escalate tensions and foster dialogue. His efforts could prove pivotal in finding a solution that satisfies both Alberta's demands for autonomy and the federal government's commitment to maintaining national unity. For the Conservative Party, under Poilievre's leadership, this crisis presents an opportunity to reclaim some ground lost in recent years. While Poilievre's approach may prioritize national unity, his capacity to lead the conversation in a manner that addresses Alberta's economic grievances could strengthen the Conservative Party's standing within the province. Ultimately, the resolution of Alberta's separatist movements will depend on the willingness of all parties, federal and provincial leaders alike, to engage in constructive dialogue. If successful, this dialogue could pave the way for a more balanced and equitable relationship between Alberta and the rest of Canada, ensuring that the country remains united in the face of growing economic and political challenges.